Hey everyone, and welcome back to the show. We're in a little in-between phase with Christmas and New Year's. This is coming out on New Year's Eve, so if you're anything like me, I don't usually know what day it is during this part of the year. As my daughter at school today, am I working? Is it Christmas? Am I traveling? There's a lot of different things going on. So I just wanted to share today a little bit of the meals and snacks that I've been enjoying, the decisions I made around food, and a little bit about why. So, a little health bite for you today. I'm going to be breaking down some meals that I had. Again, the choices I made and things I'm looking for. So I'm going to dive into what I look for on the packaging when I'm at the grocery store, how I make quick choices that keep things balanced and practical, even when life's chaotic or I just like need a quick meal right now and I needed to run to the store. I feel like I go to the store a lot, but it keeps us from wasting a lot of food in some cases. And sometimes you just really are in the mood for something and it's usually not the thing you have in your fridge. So I'm not that upset about it. And just with the holidays, if you're anything like me, it just kind of brings a mix of indulgence and routine. And if I'm being honest, I'm not perfect. So I sort of mix in, that 80%, 20% rule where 80% of the time I'm really just trying to stick to my routine. Does that get a little off in the holiday season? Sometimes. So it's just really about progress, not perfection. It's about just doing as much as your routine as you can while not ruining a lot of progress. So I just want to share a little bit about the meals I've been having, some areas where I would improve those meals, and maybe sometimes, I didn't want them improved. That's just what we were having, and other reasons why I chose what I chose. So let's get into it. I'm Caitlin, and your host of the Glucose Glow Up Show. I'm a natural researcher and girl mama who dove into metabolic health research to heal my insulin resistance, all with the hopes of growing our family. Now I'm here to give you an inside look on how I achieved my glucose glow up and to share my journey with you so we all can achieve optimal health. I know we all want to be healthy, but with so much noise out there, it's hard to know where to start. Whether you're trying to start or grow your family, improve your fasting glucose or A1C, or just learn how I'm biohacking my health for longevity, you're in the right place. Let's get glowing. So I want to start by saying with the holiday meals, specifically Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, specifically, it wasn't really a time that I was going to stress about my levels. For me, it was just sticking to my regular routine leading up to the family gatherings or meals. Some of it was traveling for us. And that way, when I wanted the mashed potatoes, corn, roll, the pie, of course, I could enjoy it without guilt. Did my blood sugar spike? Probably. But I wasn't worried because I set myself up for success beforehand. And you know what? Spending hours traveling in the car to visit family just adds another layer to the mix. So I just know I can't control everything, and that's okay. So, just the takeaway here is that flexibility is really part of my process and understanding and knowing my body, making thoughtful choices when I can, and just allowing myself to be present in those special moments with family on those specific days. Now, I'm not talking about weeks on end. I'm just talking about those specific days where you are gathering with family or friends. I want to go through some grocery store go-tos and some things that I like staples essentially when I go grocery shopping. Like I said, I feel like I just go to the store multiple times in a day, but it's working and I'm staying stocked up on things that just make building my meals and snacks easier. One of the first things that I'm prioritizing when I run to the store, whatever that is that I need, is protein. I just make sure there's always a solid protein source for meals and snacks. So whether that's chicken or beef, cottage cheese is really great, and yogurt, even nuts. any kind of protein that just keeps me full and stabilizes my glucose levels is a win. I honestly, cottage cheese and yogurt are really great because you can add your healthy fats and fibers and carbs, and you kind of have it's kind of like an all-in-one. So that is like a I love that, especially for snacks or breakfast. It is kind of a catch-all for me. So if you can handle dairy, cottage cheese is a real win. The next thing that I'm prioritizing, I really try and make sure I have a lot of good healthy fats. Avocados, butter, ghee, olive oil, nut butters, those are some of my go-tos. And these healthy fats, like avocados, can help raise your HDL cholesterol, the good kind. So adding these fats to your meals really helps balance your blood sugar and keeps your body fueled while keeping things all balanced. Fiber, I'm trying to prioritize fiber. So whether that's my cruciferous vegetables, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, chia seeds are a really good source of fiber. So just making sure that I'm incorporating some sort of fiber into my meals. So that chia seeds could go on my cottage cheese or yogurt. I could have a side with my beef or chicken with roasted cauliflower or Brussels sprouts. Those are really great options. The broccoli could be sauteed in ghee. So those sorts of things, I'm definitely trying to make sure that I have fiber. Carbs, I sort of work in with the rest of my meal. Sometimes I plan my meals around a carb. Like let's say I like really wanted something very specific. Like one of my homemade granola bars or something for a snack, or maybe I eat that after my dinner for dessert or something like that. But I try not to start with the carb. I try and, like I said, start with the protein, fat, and fiber and sort of work it in. So, for instance, like corn is, a really good source of fiber. It's a vegetable, but it also could be my carb source for that meal. So sometimes if we're having like beef or chicken or maybe a burger or something, like corn is my carb instead of, you might be thinking of potato chips, French fries, rice, whatever. I use corn as my carb. So I just work it in to the meal. It's not necessarily my first big thing. Other carb sources, I make my own sourdough bread, so that's an option. Sweet potatoes, quinoa, rice, these are all good carbs. So in moderation with a well-balanced plate, those all fit. Those are the main components when building a meal and things I'm looking for. So when I'm at the store, I'm sort of in my brain like building my plate out. I'm finding my chicken, avocado, corn, whatever it is. I'm building out my plate and I'm kind of breaking them into these categories. And then if I'm grabbing something that's been pre-made or something packaged, I do check the label. I look for things like added sugars, refined oils, and any unnecessary additives. Am I perfect? No, but I really do try and be cautious of what I'm buying. And if I can make it myself, I would rather do that to avoid some of these extra things. Okay, let's round this out with some of the meals and snacks I've enjoyed so far during this holiday season. We had several gatherings for various reasons. We meet with, grandparents, parents, we just kind of have smaller gatherings between our families. And we hosted a couple. So one, we had a chili night. I made a big pot of chili. It's a simple go-to for me. It's filling and packed with protein and fiber. I do not put pasta in our chili. I know some people do. We do not. I enjoy it without that. And then I served it with a salad for the fiber. And so my main component there was eating the salad first, kind of preloading with the fiber, knowing that the chili would probably raise my glucose some, but to avoid a super large spike, I did eat the chili second. Then we did a homemade pizza night for another gathering. I made the homemade crust with the pepperoni sauce and cheese, really simple. And then I just did a chopped romaine salad on the side. of course, with dressing for these salads, which incorporates some fat that helps slow down the absorption of glucose in our bodies. So the goal with the pizza was really just to provide a healthier option than store-bought pizza by avoiding all the junk and additives I just talked about. There's a lot of things that go into pizza that you wouldn't even realize. If you turn around the packaging, it's a little scary, actually. So this meal, of course, did spike my blood sugar. I know pizza does that. I was well aware. I mean, we were having a decent amount of people, so it was just a quick and easy thing also. So the homemade option for me made me feel like I was at least providing something to step up from what's in the frozen pizza aisle. So I actually know from some of my CGM data with pizza or homemade pizza, whatever it is, I mean, it's a lot of carbs, right? I know that the pizza actually causes a double spike in my blood sugar, which is called a biphasic curve. And interestingly, research from Levels Health suggests that this might actually be healthier than one spike. It it's showing that it reflects better insulin sensitivity if your pancreas releases insulin for the first time and then it comes back down and then it releases more the second time, the data is showing that you are more insulin sensitive. So I guess that's not bad, but sometimes I think if people would see two spikes, typically the second spike is a little bit smaller than the first. So I just know that that is something that happens when I eat a large portion of carbs, but I knew that going in. So I tried to be pretty proactive during the rest of the day, knowing that it was going to be a higher carb meal. But I knew that going in, and I I'm okay with that. Some breakfast highlights. I did over easy eggs with avocado, and then I did cottage cheese with blueberries and some homemade granola. I am working on perfecting this homemade granola recipe. So, because we like topping our yogurt and cottage cheese and things like that with some granola, and I just feel like the better options out there are pretty pricey. So, I'm looking to stop purchasing that and just making my own. And it's going pretty well baking it in the oven. I find that I like it best with the natural peanut butter kind of binding things together. So when that is perfected, I will definitely share that. So that's like a go-to. My protein shakes are obviously a go-to. And then another meal that we had that I really love is burger bowls. So I do shredded lettuce with ground beef, pickles, raw onion, cherry tomatoes. I like the Alexia sweet potato fries, shredded cheese, and then the special sauce, which is mayo, ketchup, and mustard. It's just really good. And I love the Chosen Foods avocado mayo. It's really good. It's made with avocado oil, obviously in the name, so it's got a really good ingredient list. So I like that. And then I also like the Famous Dave's pickles. They don't have high fructose corn syrup and a bunch of other crap. I mean, if you turn around a jar of pickles, you would be really surprised. There's like dyes and all this stuff in there. So I found Famous Dave's pickles, and those are my go-tos. They're actually, in my opinion, not that bad in price compared to Sucker Punch was another one that I really like, but those seem to be pretty expensive. And then just to round out some of the food that I ate, this is not a all-inclusive list, but something we really like to do is make our own popcorn. So we get the kernels and we pop them in either coconut oil or olive oil. It really just depends. And our daughter just loves seeing it pop on the stovetop. It's kind of a fun activity. I feel like she just kept saying she wanted popcorn as a snack because she wanted to see it pop, and she helps us like dump the kernels into the pot and things like that. So kind of a fun activity too. And I've found that when I make popcorn, I've also bought like the Lesser Evil brand. I found that when it's made with the coconut oil specifically, or even olive oil, that my blood sugar really doesn't spike. Even you would think with all the carbs that it would spike a lot more, but I think because it's cooked in the healthy fat that it's pretty good actually. So now, of course, that's my data, and you might see a different rise in glucose than I do, but I've found that I can sometimes eat a couple cups of popcorn and be fine. You can also add, nuts or jerky or a beef stick or something to there for protein as a good snack. But we were enjoying watching Harry Potter or Christmas movies in the evening and occasionally having some of our homemade popped popcorn. Just sort of reflecting on these last few weeks and just it's really for me just about the balance and flexibility, just making the best choices in the moment. And if you're at the store, focus on the basics, protein, fat, and carbs, get some fiber. And if you're indulging in a holiday meal, just enjoy it. Get back on your routine. If you're running to the store for the third time in the day, just remember you're doing your best and that's enough. So thanks for tuning in to this little holiday health bite. I hope you are inspired by something that I made or something that I said, and you can just find your own balance in that. You try any of these or have any other meals you're wondering about, I'd love to hear from you. So DM me on Instagram, glucose glow up. And until next time, keep on glowing.